Hello, and thank you for joining us for Eastern Platinum's webinar. We'll hear from Wanjin Yang, President and CEO, and Wylie Hui, CFO and Corporate Secretary. Following the formal part of the presentation, there will be a Q&A portion, so please remember to submit your questions in the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. We will try to answer each of your questions in the allotted time, but if we run out of time, we will contact those individuals who submitted questions directly. Today's presentation will be broadcast live to listeners in a listen-only mode. A replay will be posted to the investor section of Eastplat's website on November 29th. With that, I'd like to introduce Wanjin Yang, CEO, to kick things off today. Wanjin?
Good morning and welcome to Eastplat's Investor Webinar. At the moment, I am on site at the Crocodile River Mine, which is located about 17 kilometers from Johannesburg. This is our first investor webinar since I have joined the company, and I look forward to updating you on our progress of the Zandfontein underground restart. Before we begin, I would like to let shareholders and investors know that we will be making forward-looking statements during this presentation. Please consult this slide when you have a moment. We are platinum group metals, PGM, and a chrome producer with assets located within South Africa's Boswell complex, which contain 80% of world PGM bearing ore. Our assets include the Crocodile River Mine, which produces chrome and PGMs at our tailings treatment project. We have begun the initial restart at the Zandfontein underground section of the mine this quarter, and we expect PGM production to begin in 2024. In addition to Crocodile River Mine, we have the Canadian Well, Spitzkop, and the Merseburg project, both of which are at development stage. The current Eastplate executive team is a new team. I joined Eastplate in June 2022 in the CEO role to lead the team as management execute the plan to restart underground operation at the Zandfontein section of Crocodile River Mine. Before joining Eastplate, I worked for White Horse Gold focused on mineral exploration project acquisitions, and other corporate development work. Prior to this, I worked for Ivanhoe Mines, overseeing similar responsibilities. The experience and the exposure gained at Ivanhoe Mines has prepared me for my current role. I joined Eastplate because I believe in the Crocodile River Mine and see the potential to bring this project back into production. I have an equally seasoned CFO and Vice President, both of whom spend a lot of time at site. Wylie will share his background shortly in the coming slides. The long-term demand for chrome and PGMs remains attractive, both showing 5% or more growth over the next 7 years. Both minerals are expected to play a role in clean energy technologies, with chrome being the most versatile. Platinum will benefit from increasing demand for hydrogen and fuel cell use in electric cars. This is a positive trend, or the long-term demand and the pricing for platinum, which supports the future outlook on the market. In a PGM outlook report published by RBC earlier this year, analysts noted that they expect the long-term global PGM price to settle around $1,295 per ounce, which is similar to Eastplate's realized prices reported in our recent quarterly report. Though this long-term price is much lower than the all-time high seen in 2021, the graph to the right shows that current 90% of the global PGM producers operate at or below this price, meaning that the majority of PGM producers may still be able to operate at $1,300 per ounce level. I will discuss our plans to grow production, optimize our costs, and remain profitable as PGM prices fluctuate in the upcoming slides. Crocodile River Mine, Canadian's Well, Spitzkop, and Merseburg are the reason why I joined East Plate. All of these assets are located within the Boswell complex north of Johannesburg, which is home to 80% of world PGM bearing ore. Crocodile River Mine is the most advanced of these assets and where we are focused at the moment. Currently, we are producing chrome and a little bit of PGMs from our tailing retreatment project. This retreatment project has been operational since 2018 and is expected to an end in 2024. In addition, we are prepared to commence initial mining operation at an underground section of Zandfontein at Crocodile River Mine. The potential here is huge because in addition to Zandfontein, we have two other development sections, Cricket and Crossroad. The company also plans to do some work on Canadian's Well Spitzkop and Merseburg in 2024. As mentioned in the previous slide, over the past 5 years, East Plate has been remining tailings to recover chrome. In 2021, these retreatment activities were expanded to include the recovery of platinum group metals. At the moment, we are continuing to operate and optimize these operations, but we are also focused on initiating the soft restart of Zandfontein underground. I will now turn the presentation over to Wylie to discuss our financials. Hi, Wylie.
Thank you, Wanjin. Before I provide some commentary on our financial performance, I'd like to share a little bit about my background. So I joined East Plate in April of 2021. Previously to joining the company, I held CFO roles at Tintina Resources, which is now known as Sandfire Resources America, assisting with the development of the Black Butte Copper Project in Montana. And also was the CFO of BQE Water, a water treatment company specializing in wastewater treatment solutions to the global mining industry. My focus at East Plate has been on improving financial reporting, budget and cash flow forecasting, and analysis processes as we prepare for the restart of the Zandfontein underground section at the Crocodile River Mine. As you can see on these charts, the financial performance of the company has been positive. On the revenue chart on the left, there was a blip in 2022 as we revised the revenue recognition policy in the third quarter of 2022 as East Plate took ownership of chrome inventory as our main off-taker, Union Gold, did not pay its outstanding receivables. As a result, East Plate is directly selling to customers at free market prices and not to Union Gold on a cost recovery basis. Accordingly, we could see a positive trend with revenue, mine operating income, and EPS, earnings per share. We expect to reach, we anticipate we're going to reach US dollars $100 million for fiscal year 2023 and have improved mining operating income significantly and earn good margins on chrome and PGM operations. We also expect to maintain a positive EPS of around 7 cents US for 2023. And that's based on year-to-date numbers that you can see on the chart on the right. We are forecasting significant improvement on operating income and earnings per share as we progress through 2024. Our strategy of controlling sales to customers and focusing on cash flow is working well. Next slide, please. Thank you. As you can see on this chart, our revenues are mainly derived from chrome operations. However, we expect these revenues to decrease during 2024 as the retreatment project approaches completion. Accordingly, our focus is to restart the Zandfontein underground to generate PGM revenue while maintaining a positive EBITDA. We feel that the soft restart will enable us to maintain operations and take advantage of recovering PGM prices. We expect PGM operations to account for 65% of revenue by 2025 to 2026. I will now turn the presentation back to Wanjin, who will speak about the operations over the next few slides. Wanjin?
Okay, thank you, Wylie. Year to date, 2023, we have remined 10.9 million tons of tailings to produce 3.3 million tons of chrome concentrate, grading approximately 38.6%. We will notice that chrome recoveries from the tailings treatment project has declined over the last 5 years, but this is as expected given the project is coming close to the end of its life. Going forward, production will focus on PGM ounces. PGM production is also currently coming from tailings, but PGM ounces will come from underground production in 2024 and beyond. Discuss the main areas of the retreatment facility, including Area A retreatment in the first 2 years, that was in 2018-2019. The Area B1 finished in 2022. Area B2 retreating ongoing. Area C and D currently remaining TSF areas, where contains TSF materials for further 12 more months continuous production. The scale shows the image area is about 4 kilometers length and 2.5 kilometers wide. The central part on this image are the chrome plant and the PGM plant circuits. Right side, the black line is the Crocodile River Mine. The red dot showing the vertical shaft, the underground mine access decline 3 and decline 4. Next slide, thank you. The main area of the Crocodile River Mine facility include right-hand side focused on the retreatment project to recover chrome and PGM from tailing materials. Left-hand side is where the mined PGM ore will be processed. Next slide, thank you. Here are our most recent National Instrument 43-101 compliant mineral reserves and resources. As of May 2022, we have reserves of 14.5 million tons of PGMs grading 3.68 4E grams per ton for a total of 1.7 million ounces. This technical report also includes mineral measured and indicated resources, now 64 million tons of PGMs grading 4.12 4E grams per ton for a total of 8.5 million ounces. I will now hand the presentation to Wylie again to discuss project economics.
Great, thank you, Wanjin.
Yeah.
This slide presents the economic highlights of the May 2022 43-101 report, which was based on higher prices and conservative cost estimates. Further, the technical report did not consider chrome resources underground, which potentially provides significant cash flow upside. Currently, we are working on updating our financial model to sharpen our pencils, to lower our all-in sustaining costs, and quantifying the chrome upgrade. Back to Wanjin to discuss our soft restart plan.
Thank you, Wylie. The model to the right shows where we are developing and will be mining in 2024. White lines are underground tunnels. Below this is the Zandfontein underground. We are getting ready for the initial restart. We are fully funded for this part. This upper green area contains 3.5 million tons of ore and has a mine life of more than 2 years. After 2025, we will be moving to the next phase of development, the lower portion of the model, which contains 10 million tons of ore. Table to the left shows the capital we will need to fully reopen the Zandfontein underground activity. Next slide, thank you. Let us discuss the soft restart ramp-up. We will get to the normal run of mine rate by end of 2024. We will get to capacity of 40,000 ton months by the end of 2025. We expect the mining capacity to double, reaching 80,000 ton per month. I will now hand the presentation to Wylie to discuss our valuation.
Great, thank you. You can see here that based on enterprise value to reserves or enterprise value to resources, we feel that we are undervalued. Yes, prices are lower. However, the environment is supportive of PGMs. So PGMs are still considered critical minerals for a green and sustainable environment. We are currently at the start of our plans to become a mid-tier PGM and chrome producer. And really, we have learned a lot about remining tailings to extract PGM and chrome minerals efficiently. I'll turn the presentation back to Wanjin.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Wylie. We discussed the price chart. The left side pie chart shows the Crocodile River Mine pre-split 4E composition contained 62.1% of platinum, 27.3% palladium, also around almost 10% of the rhodium and around 0.8% of gold. That's the 4E composition, PGM minerals. The right side graph shows the Crocodile River Mine split PGM basket prices recorded monthly with time frame from January 2000 to October 2023, the current price. We can see the current Crocodile River Mine PGM concentrate 4E basket price set around $1,272 per ounce. Next slide, thank you. Here is the PGM cost curve taken from our 2022 technical report, which need to be re-evaluated in light of today's price. Also, as mentioned earlier, chrome production was not taken into account in the 2022 technical report. Next slide, thank you. Yeah, this process plant flow diagram shows how we are currently processing remined materials, green areas, and how we will processing once we are beginning production from the Zandfontein underground mining activities, the yellow area. Thank you. Next slide. Okay. These are some images now surface on the underground infrastructure at site, which shows that equipment and other infrastructure are in really good condition, which will enable us to start the underground quickly as planned. To date, over $630 million has been invested in infrastructure at Crocodile River Mine. Thank you. Providing a safe working environment is an essential part now our business, and we are committed to a zero harm safety culture. Over the past 10 years, we have had 0 fatalities, and we look forward to continue this trend. We have also implemented various safety standards such as hydropower and nets for support, and dedicated raise lines for workers, material and ore, and we will continue to look for opportunities to improve safety in the workplace. There has been a number of follow-on benefits to operating the Crocodile River Mine, such as local employment, small and medium business development, water, education, and sanitation project, and workplace mentoring. As we get ready to restart the Zandfontein underground, we hope to report more on these initiatives, including showing how this project will create more jobs for the local host communities. Now, Wylie will make some closing remarks.
Thank you,
Wylie.
Wanjin. Thank you, Wanjin. It's my pleasure to discuss our outlook. So our current focus on the last quarter of 2023 is to finalize our budget and outlook for 2024. We will focus on the ramp up of the Zandfontein underground operations, which, as we discussed earlier, will be initially a soft restart. This means that we'll be ramping up production ounces with the capital available to us. Next, we will be resolving our contract with Union Gold. We'll be negotiating the value of the chrome plant and settle outstanding contract payable with Union Gold and offset the outstanding receivables from Union Gold. This will provide us with more financial flexibility going forward and will strengthen our balance sheet. The last point I would like to highlight is that we'll be commissioning Circuit A in 2024 as we ramp up production ounces. As the market sees us executing our strategic plan as we outlined today, we believe our valuation will come in line with our peers. And with that, I would like to thank you for taking time to listen to today's presentation. Before we open up the webinar to Q&As, I'd like to start by thanking the board for the support, which has been invaluable throughout this process. I also want to thank all of our employees for their hard work and dedication throughout this transition period. The team has had to make sacrifices in order to help us get where we are today. However, we believe that they will be rewarded with a more prosperous future as well. We are pleased with our performance so far in 2023. We have made significant progress on our strategic priorities and remain focused on delivering to our shareholders. I also like to thank our shareholders for the support they have shown us throughout the past year. While the global economy continues to face headwinds, we are confident that we can deliver our strategy to become a leading mid-tier PGM and chrome producer. With that, we can now open up the Q&A portion of the webinar. Moderator, back to you.
Thank you. If you'd like to hear from leadership today, please submit your questions through the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. We already have a few questions coming in, so I will start off with question number 1 here. Wylie, we have a question here. One of your peers has announced restructuring due to high operating costs, inflation, and declining PGM prices. Do you see that as a factor impacting East Platts?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, PGM prices and operating costs are always out at the top of the mind as they impact our operating margins. Remain vigilant on managing our costs and improving efficiencies at site. Some of the ways we have been able to do this is by focusing development on the reef as opposed to the footwall, as previously done by the previous regime. This means we can reduce hoisting and costs and can generate revenue from developing the ore body at this location. We also have made infrastructure changes. So previously, conveyors were not fully commissioned with decreased efficiencies and cost. Now conveyors, chairlifts, the vertical shaft are fully functional, resulting in increased efficiencies, lower costs, and reduced use of load and reducing use of the load and haul fleet, which is more environmentally friendly. So really, helping us to reduce emissions, which is really important in today's market. So these are just some of the initiatives that we have undertaken to improve operating efficiencies and reduce costs in light of current market conditions. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. During the presentation, you were mentioning the Union Gold payable. What are your plans on resolving this?
As mentioned in the presentation, we are currently negotiating the value of the chrome plant with Union Gold to settle the outstanding contract payable and offset outstanding receivables. So we're confident that this issue will be resolved in the upcoming year, so 2024. And this will, again, like I stated in the presentation, it's going to provide us with more financial flexibility going forward and really strengthen our balance sheet.
Okay, great. Thank you. Wanjin, there's a question here. Can you provide us more details on what the $24 million of capital needs to fully restart the Zandfontein will be used for?
Excuse me. What, 24 million? Okay. You mean okay. The 24 million, the fund we just planned for capital investment for restart the Zandfontein underground section. The 11.7 million in money capital will be used for mine and the soft infrastructure to enable us to achieve steady state tonnage in a short period of time. The 5.5 million in planned capital will be used for primary to commission main plant circuit A and also some part of circuit B. Contingency and other capital will include certain pre-production for underground operations and initial fleet purchases. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Perfect. I'm sure it does. Thank you. Another investor question. What is your evaluation on raising interest rates effect on the financial position of Eastern Platinum? And do you have any contingency plans in case interest rates raise even more and remain high for the next several years? I think, Wylie, that was directed to you.
Yeah, I take on that question. In terms of our contract, outstanding contract payable, it's basically at a fixed rate. So it's a negotiated rate that we had negotiated with Union Gold from years back. So there's going to be ongoing negotiations in terms of, like I said before, in terms of recovering our outstanding receivable, and also we're going to be looking at revaluing or evaluating the chrome plant, so we can offset the contract payable. In terms of rising interest rates, we do have a bridge financing, which is based on JIBAR plus a margin agreed to with Investec. We continue to look at manage that on an ongoing basis to make sure that is that it's our cash flow is strong, and we have a really good relationship with Investec. So we have a really good rate with Investec right now, and hopefully I could drive it down lower. But that's anticipated that when we reopen up the underground, we're going to be revising and renegotiating the rate for the underground facility.
Great, thank you. Another investor question. How many employees do you have working at the mine site?
Maybe I'll pick this question. This current mine site working employees is about 400 around, and include contractors, total about 750 employees and contractors working at mine site at the moment. Okay.
Okay, great.
Back to you. Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned in the presentation that chrome wasn't accounted for in the 2022 technical report. Any plans to update the report and update the cost assumptions and account for chrome production?
Sure, I'll take on this question.
Okay, sure.
At the time the report was written, chrome was not a robust market, so the market was not willing to finance chrome. So unlike other metals like gold or silver, there aren't any royalty companies willing to purchase the chrome stream. So it wasn't accounted for in the 2022 report. So despite favorable chrome prices, we've seen that it's been pretty strong over the last couple of years. We've had no plans to update the technical report. So these as this costs money, and we want to focus our efforts in restarting the underground. And we're only going to be updating our internal model and try to, again, fine tune our costs and be as efficient as possible as we continue to wrap up operations underground.
Okay, thank you. Just a reminder to investors to keep submitting your questions. We have a lot of great questions here. Okay, another question we have is, I'm going to bundle these together. Could you please elaborate on what the use of hydropower entails for the underground Zandfontein section? And do you have reliable electricity and water at site?
Okay, maybe I'll pick this question, try to answer this question. Okay, we have currently we use electricity, the grid electricity from ESCOM, the local electricity supplier. The currently we have some curtailment. There's low setting and low curtailment that is kind of less of our electricity to supply to the mine. The last year was more serious. This year getting released, not the mitigated. The ESCOM electricity supply, they mitigated the supply electricity. Now getting much better now. I experienced whole this year from January, and a little bit of low setting and low curtailment. And recently a few months of at least 1-2 quarters, almost no low setting, no load curtailment happened to the mine. So you asked another question about we have enough electricity for the grid ESCOM. At the same time, also we consider the solar panel will also save the energy, save the cost as well. That's the near-term plan. And how about you asked another water supply question?
Yes, elaborate on
Okay.
what use of hydropower.
We use hydropower. It's just kind of we not really use hydropower currently at mine site. We talk about hydropower, just kind of a hydropower drill for help for the mining, to drill the rock. That's hydropower. Use the electricity to drill the motor, and use water to drill the hole at the underground. And we don't have hydropower at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. How often does leadership go to site in South Africa?
Maybe I answer this question. Yeah, quite very often. We just with three of us, and CFO Wylie Hui, myself, and our VP Haiying Wang. We mostly very often quite come to my site to monitor and to leading the project, to work together with our team and local South African management team, and to produce our the profit to benefit to our shareholders. Quite often, mostly. For example, now our VP and myself are on site. The value will come up in next week. Thank you.
Okay. Wylie, what is the current status of the whistleblower investigation?
So, we did provide an update of the whistleblower special committee investigation in our Q3 2023 results news release on November 10th. So that's just, a couple of weeks ago. The investigation has progressed significantly, and there are further interviews with material persons by the end of November. So a report of the committee's findings will be provided to the board, and we anticipate that we're going to receive this before the end of the year.
Wonderful, thank you. We have another great question here. How does the company ensure that contractors adhere to the company's SLP mandates with regards to serving the host community?
Maybe I just try to answer this question. This, SEG, that's kind of it means that environment, the social and the governance. That's international standard. We are just this company is just was care and maintenance from last year 2023. We just start recruit more employees for restart the underground Zandfontein section. So now we are working, just start do research and working on the ESG project. That's quite international standard. Yeah, by the way, we have already in South Africa, our business here, we apply the SOP, the social labor plan, and the LED, the local company development plan that also benefit to local community. And we have another multiple project to benefit local employees, local communities, and historical disadvantaged people, and historical disadvantaged companies. So that's the local business policy. Also complying to the ESG project. We have this plan and try to work on a thorough report in the near term. We'll upload to our website. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay. Let's see here. We have a question here. Where does management see long-term growth coming from? Wylie, maybe you'd like to answer that?
Yeah, we anticipate growth coming from our current portfolio in the Bushveld complex in the near and midterm. And also in the near term, growth will come from the Crocodile River Mine as we bring the Zandfontein underground into operation. In the mid to longer term, we have 3 other PGM assets. So apart from the Crocodile River Mine, so these are all on the eastern limb that are in our portfolio so that we can advance to grow the company. So our focus again is focusing on restarting the underground, and then we're going to look at developing the eastern limb project. So for example, at the Marisburg project, as mentioned, as Wanjin mentioned earlier in the presentation, we plan to conduct environmental work to complete its EIA, or Environmental Impact Assessment, in 2024. On the western limb of the Bushveld, Spitzkopf is in the process of an environmental assessment. So the aim here is to put this asset into production in 12 to 24 months following the environmental assessment. And of course, that's subject to financing and marketing conditions. So focusing on developing the PGM-rich assets within our portfolio presents lots of optionality and opportunities for growth for East Plant. So again, our aim is to become a mid-tier PGM and chrome producer, and our current assets will help us to get to that goal.
Perfect, thank you. Well, I believe we've answered all the investor questions, so that concludes our webinar today. If you do have any questions for leadership that were not addressed, please email us at ir@eastplats.com. And as a reminder, you can view a recording of this webinar on the East Plats website in 1 week's time. Please follow us on social media as well. I'd like to thank Wylie and Wanjin for their time today and wish everyone a wonderful rest of your day. We will now ask listeners to please disconnect from this call.
Thank you.
Thank you.